Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd. Today we're talking about Psi-Korr is mother, Psi-Korr is father. This is a Bester-centered episode, and while I've been whining for the last few weeks on just how dull the show has become now that there is no story arc to speak of, we do get a good look at the Psi-Korr, and it's something that's kind of interested me from the beginning. Where does Bester get his orders? And we find that he does in fact have a supervisor. We don't know if the supervisor is the head of the Corps or is just some middle management type, but he does have a superior, and this particular episode he is given the task of indoctrinating some new recruits into the Psi-Cop portion of the Psi-Korr. And they are two young people who are enthusiastic and know of Bester's reputation of being quite the hero. And so there's a certain amount of hero worship here, and we get to see a little bit more into Bester's personality. First of all, he does not take advantage of his position. That's made clear fairly early on. He treats his students like students professionally, and he lets them know what his beliefs of the Corps are like. He really believes the group of telepaths are special and need to be treated specially. And we also know of his disdain for the normals. He believes them to be a lot more warlike, a little more sadistic, a little more less civilized, shall we say, than telepaths are. And so he has this what we will say is a discriminatory eye on what they call the normals or normies. And it's reflected in his mission to go to Babylon 5, which he also discounts to his students as not being the most important place in the universe. They just think they are. And that his assignment there is not something that he relishes, but it's just something that is part of his duty to do. And so when this murder happens on campus of the training facility, and Bester is assigned to go after the culprit, who, of course, flees to Babylon 5, the story engages. Now, the story of why this person was Breaking Bad, we don't really care. We want to see the procedure, and the procedure is pretty good when you consider that we don't see anybody in this episode of the regular cast except for Dr. Franklin and Zach Allen. Zach Allen is there just to trade the barbs with Bester, and he looks knowingly at his students saying, this is the way they treat us. And even has the same suspicions about the doctor, who said that you can scan me if you want. You'll find that I believe in treating everybody equally. And he meant it enough to authorize a scan, which Bester turned down. But at any rate, despite all that happens, we see almost a human side of the Psi-Korr, and something that is essential, really, to writing a good villain for movies, for television, for a book, is that they don't think that they're evil. They think that they are doing good. And so in doing that, this gives us a lot more depth to Bester's character than just being the evil nemesis. And in this case, we see almost that he's the good guy until the twist at the end, and I realize, well, no, we're not going to let him go that far. We're not going to say that he's just as good as our heroes are on Babylon 5, but within his own range of morality, I suppose that that he's all right. So that's what we see in Babylon 5 this week. A very good episode, once again, very well written, very well acted by Walter Koenig. This time he gets to really use his acting chops on this, and it turns out very well. The story itself is compelling. You have to wonder if the people at Babylon 5 are kind of the bad guys, and to a certain extent they are at least uncooperative and refused to understand the point of view of the Psi Corps. And so that's where we leave it after so many episodes of people like Lita Alexander and others talking about how brutal Psi Corps is to the people it indoctrinates. But, it doesn't happen to everybody that way. Bester was, his parents died when he was an infant. He was taken in by Psi Corps on a routine checkup and was raised by them. So obviously his allegiance to them is genuine. So I'd like to know what you think about this. Please do so by making a comment below. If you have not subscribed and liked, please do that as well. We have another Khan episode coming up tomorrow. Later this week, we'll hear, a little bit later than usual this week, we'll hear from Professor O, and we'll be talking about High Noon and also Outland, two movies that are very similar in plot to each other, but perhaps have a different message behind them. So we hope that you will join us for the rest of this week, and until next time, don't go far.